I just had a front row seat at how predatory and exploitative the industry was. So unless a consumer has a background in nutritional science, I mean, they quite literally have a 0% chance of understanding what products are going to benefit them, what ingredients are going to benefit them. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, you do this right and you can create health in people's lives. And like, that is an inherently really good thing, right? Creating health adds value and is inherently good. And yet I know all the companies, I know the whole industry, and it's no one was really doing it right.
Fans, today's guest is the CEO of a supplement company called Previnex that you may have heard me talk about on this podcast before. I've had an affiliate discount code for a number of years now. And so here and there in a few episodes, I have shared my story and kind of promoted Previnex supplements if they are of interest to you. But this is the first time I'm actually having their CEO, David, come on and talk about the products so that you don't just have my anecdotal and albeit also professional experience as a sports dietitian, but you're hearing about this company straight from the source. I'm so excited for you to listen. And I just want to remind you that if you're interested in purchasing these supplements after hearing about how amazing they are, then you can go to Previnex.com, which is Previnex, Previnex. That'll be in the show notes. And my discount code is Cortez15. Cortez is with an S, Cortes 15 for 15% off. We also mentioned in this episode that they do have a subscription service. So if you use the code and you sign up for their subscription, then you get an extra discount there. So that can be really, really helpful when you are using supplements regularly. And the good thing about this is that they're actually going to work. We're going to dive into that. They're actually going to help your health. We're going to dive into that in today's episode. So you're not just going to be wasting money on supplements as so many people kind of are, because we talk about how the supplement industry can be such a scam, but you're going to hear it straight from the source and with me. I really hope you look into Previnex supplements. Use the code Cortez15. And yeah, listen, this is a really educational episode. Enjoy. Hey, fans and listeners, Lindsay Cortez, registered dietitian, sports dietitian, your host of the podcast. I'm here today with David Block. He is the CEO of Previnex. David has the great privilege of leading a company that is dedicated to creating health and advancing human flourishing in the lives of everyone the company serves. Previnex makes best-in-class nutritional supplement products that promote longevity, performance, and everyday health. And Previnex donates vitamins to malnourished children with every customer order through the company's Get Health, Give Health program. Since July 2017, Previnex has donated over 2.4 million vitamins to malnourished children in 19 different countries. Prior to Previnex, David was a hedge fund manager and Wall Street research analyst in the health and wellness industry, where he was named one of the top research analysts and stock pickers in the country by the Wall Street Journal and Forbes. David has appeared in numerous financial publications for his expertise in the health and wellness industry, including the Wall Street Journal, Investors, Business Daily, Business Week, Forbes, and Barron's. David attended UCLA, where he was a scholarship athlete and received a law degree from Pepperdine University School of Law, where he was a fellow and founding student board member of the Palmer Center for Entrepreneurship and Law. David also serves as board member and trustee of Guidepost, Inc. David, it's great to reconnect with you and have you on the podcast.
It is so good to reconnect, and thanks for having me.
So Dave and I just had a great 15-minute conversation before hitting record, because we connected a number of years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And that's when I started using Previnex products myself. So we'll get into that. And I can't believe I haven't had you on the podcast sooner, because I'm such a fan of the product. But let's get our audience to get to know you a little bit more. I actually did not know that you were a college athlete. What sport did you play?
I played water polo.
No, that's so difficult.
You know, people say that, like the treading water, I think really it jars people's mind. Like, how can you tread water? But you're a runner. So just like you walk, run, if you're conditioned for it, you can do it. Not as hard as people think, but it's super fun sport.
Yeah. I guess, I just wasn't ever a strong swimmer growing up. So any swimming thing seems difficult, and water polo sounds really difficult to me. But that's amazing. And that was at the college level?
Yeah. So I actually started playing my freshman year in high school. So I grew up in Southern California.
Uh-huh.
My mom, the sports for fall going into my freshman year of high school were football, cross country, and water polo. And my mom would not sign the football waiver paper. She's like, you will thank me later. Trust me. And I was like, at that time, I was like, there's no way I'm doing cross country.
Yeah.
And I just chose water polo because it was like, well, that's the kind of by process of elimination. And yeah, just kind of really took to it and got a scholarship to play at UCLA and
Yeah.
played a little bit internationally with like the USA Junior program and just it had a lot of fun playing that sport.
Yeah. Now, in your career, the start of your career, you're a finance guy, hedge fund manager, things like that. But also, like in working in on Wall Street, you were analyzing the health and wellness industry too. So, did you always have an interest in the health and wellness industry, even though you kind of went that financial route? Was that always tied to athletics or kind of separate?
Yeah, health was always, I'd say, kind of a core value. I just thought probably wise to eat well. And now I didn't know what I didn't know. So like this was kind of really primitive understanding of what actually eating well meant. For
Right.
example, my pregame meal before water polo matches was a pack of Skittles and Starburst, thinking, oh, it's going to fuel me and give me energy. Like truly didn't know what I didn't know.
Yeah.
So weird to say health was a core value when I just said that, but it was. I was interested in health,
Mhm.
and so yeah, no, I kind of lucked out in a way to land in the health and wellness sector and really like dive into nutritional supplements and organic foods and things of that nature, like long, long, long time ago. But yeah, health was always there. Something I was interested
And what for you sparked the change of kind of I'm going to leave this financial career field and start my own company? I mean, you've had to have had that entrepreneurial mindset. You had some training in that in your schooling as well, but to start your own supplement company, what was the spark there?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. It's a long story that I will condense into a shorter story. And so, yeah, I think that the answer is when I was a research analyst. So my job for many years as a research analyst, the supplement industry kind of became my space that became a real bona fide expert in. And my job for many years was reading clinical studies on supplements, touring supplement manufacturing facilities, meeting with executives of supplement companies, meeting with investors, learning the physiology of what different nutrients do at a cellular level and like supply chain this and just sourcing that. And I just had a very, yeah, again, like an expertise in supplements that developed over many years. And I think as an analyst, the two things that really jumped out at me were number one, there was all this peer reviewed clinical data that supported like taking certain levels of vitamins and minerals and probiotics and omegas could like really positively influence short and long-term health outcomes. And
Yeah.
I was pretty surprised. I was like reading this clinical data and I'm just like, have I never learned this before? So that was like just left an impression. And going back to what I just said about my pregame meal as an athlete, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I was doing the worst thing I could have been doing before, competing. And so that was point one. But point two, which was probably like the real spark, was I just had a front row seat at how predatory and exploitative the industry was. So unless a consumer has a background in nutritional science, I mean, they quite literally have a 0% chance of understanding what products are going to benefit them, what ingredients are going to benefit them. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, you do this right and you can create health in people's lives. And like that is an inherently really good thing, right? Creating health adds
Yeah.
value and is inherently good. And yet I know all the companies, I know the whole industry, and they're it's no one was really doing it right. Even the really high end companies, it was more marketing, an angle of testing and quality control. And it just drove me crazy. It drove me crazy. And so as a hedge fund manager, which was the Wall Street, research analyst, the goal was launch and build a hedge fund, kind of live life for myself, go, go, go. And I just kind of like, as I was running the hedge fund, I was like, this is not what I'm meant to do. Making rich people richer, which by the way is not a bad thing. But I just was like,
Right.
I just felt like that was not the best use of my gifts and talents. And I just started exploring like, what should I be doing? Like, what does this all mean? And
Mhm.
I just kind of thought, it's such a weird niche expertise to go into the supplement industry.
Yeah.
I just felt, I was praying about like, what should I be doing? And there was all these people were coming in. Hey, you're the supplement expert. What should I be doing with this? What should I be with that? But it was in this intense frequency where I was like, I think this is when I'm supposed to explore maybe something related to this. And I just saw an opportunity because I didn't think there was anyone doing it as well as it could be done. And I just thought we could create best in class products, best in class manufacturing standards, best in class testing standards, and just elevate the industry and hopefully create a situation where like all boats rise with the rising tide. And
Yeah.
that's still our goal. Like we'd love the supplement industry to improve, become more transparent. And because you do it well, I mean, you really, really create health in people's lives. Like you've experienced that. It's how we initially connected.
Yeah.
And and that's the output of doing it right.
Thank you for sharing all of that. And I think for so long, even as a dietitian, my approach towards supplements was always with skepticism because yeah, you can't, the industry is flawed. The industry is predatory, is the word you used, where they're really just trying to get your money. And so many of them are not founded in the research, like the ingredients are not founded in the research to really do what it's marketing to do. And then you have the issue of quality control is what's on the label actually in the product. And is it really going to help you? And there's that risk of, is it going to hurt you? There are some supplements that contain high levels of heavy metals. Lead was a big topic recently. And, from an athlete perspective, we need to be cautious of what we're putting in our body. And so it's crazy because for so many years as a dietitian, people would come to me, ask me questions about supplements, and I didn't feel like I had the answers because I couldn't trust the industry. It's like, yes, I know vitamin E might help you with this. I know a boost in iron here. I know omega-3s are good for this, but which products can we trust? There's a big gap in that. And so I did rely heavily on third-party organizations that I know you probably familiar with, things like NSF for Sport or Informed Choice. And that was also kind of like, as a sports dietitian, something that we were kind of trained, frankly, to do is make sure your athletes are getting a supplement that's third party tested so that we know we can trust what's in there, things like that. And okay, that's good that we have that option, but it's also like you said, the industry shouldn't even be like that in the first place. Why can't we trust these products? And we know one of the reasons is because the FDA does not control supplements, right? They're not considered medicine, and so we don't have to go through drug trials to see if these supplements are of good quality and things like that. And so that's one of the reasons. And I understand that nutritional supplements are not medicine. I understand that. I understand why the FDA does not have a role in this, but it still leaves it too much on the consumer and too
Oh,
much on dietitians, even that I'm like, I don't know. I can't research all the supplements out there.
yep.
All my clients are taking like, and all the people I've worked with throughout all the years, it's like they're taking something. I'm like, I don't know that I have to go research that brand. And there's no way I'm not a research analyst. There's no way I'm going to know the ins and outs of their processing and where they're sourcing their raw materials from. I can't figure all that out. Right. So there's so much unknown. So sorry for that long story there, but I think that your mission, like you said, you wanted to get into the supplement industry, but you wanted to do it in a way because you saw the flaws. And I strongly resonate with those flaws as well. And sorry to super long question here, but that kind of leads me into my default was to recommend people with like third party testing. But can you give insight? Because to my knowledge, you guys are not third party tested, but that doesn't mean your products can't be trusted. So can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, yeah. So I think I made a decision day one that we were going to have a no compromise mentality, and anything that was predatory and exploitative, we were going to do the exact opposite of. Because in one of our goals, which it is one of our goals, is to raise all boats in the supplement industry to a new standard. Like you have to kind of avoid the predatory exploitative. And when you have an industry that's predatory and exploitative, which I think every single listener can agree with that it is to some extent, what ends
Yeah.
up happening is you get systems that get built around the supplement industry that also become predatory and exploitative. And I want to be careful how I frame this because I mean, I don't think third party testing is inherently bad. And we do test all of we have rigorous testing. But I think when it comes to like the brand name certification bodies, and again, I want to be careful. It's like there is value to doing that because there
Yes.
are some really bad products. And like, it's good that there is some testing that's happening. But I think, like if you take NSF as an example, I mean, that's like a gold standard. And we looked at, we kind of just attracted dietitians and physicians and athletes and like early on, because I think the quality of our products stood out. And we got the question, hey, are you NSF certified? I'm like, well, we're not. There's a reason for it, but we looked into it because we're like, maybe it's changed, and so when we looked into it at the time, it was like $14,000 per manufacturing run per product to get the certification, which is very expensive. We do probably 2 to 3 runs a year per product. So you take 14,000 times 3 times number of products, and it's not inexpensive.
No.
But that wasn't actually like the main factor. The main factor was, we're like, well, can we just look into the actual testing that's happening?
Yeah.
And for us, that's where it fell apart, because it was like, wait a second, this is like basic microbiology testing, E. coli, salmonella, things that a bread manufacturer is testing for,
Mhm.
because that's what's required. And end of the day, our testing was much more rigorous. So like for us to spend 14,000 per manufacturing run for data that we will readily share with our customers, because we love it. We're like, yeah, please, here's the data on the heavy metals. Here's the data on, well, and we can go beyond that. Like if we say that there's X milligrams of something in the product, you're going to see on the finished product test how many milligrams show up. But we like to think of ourselves as adhering to a pharmaceutical precision standard, which we can unpack. But that's where it just didn't make sense, because it just didn't make sense. We're like, this feels predatory and exploitative. I don't think it makes sense. I will say, I mean, informed choice, we've had conversations with them. The testing is much more rigorous. It's like, it's not as predatory on the pricing. Ultimately, you have to look at it from, we'd have to probably raise our prices a little bit, which we're not opposed to doing, but we do all the testing and then some. And so we kind of relied on that as our standard of like, we'll be transparent. We'll share all of our testing data. You can see the finished product testing. You can see the raw material testing. You can see the production run testing. We felt like that was sufficient. And I mean, I think our customers have agreed, and our dietitians and our professional athletes have kind of they've looked at that and evaluated it, and have concluded like, wow, you guys really do more than these organizations. So that's why we don't do like the brand name certifications.
Right. And yeah, when I met you and a couple years ago, and we hopped on Zoom a couple times, and you ended up sending me samples of like, hey, this was a recent product that we tested, and here's the printout of everything, and what levels are exactly in it. So you do all of that yourself. And I think the message I want to get to consumers here is that just be like, these third party agencies might be an easy thing to just recognize on the label. So some testing's done great, but that doesn't mean that every company that doesn't have this third party testing is unsafe or untrustworthy. And so you really have to know the company, which is why you're here. So my listeners can get to know you and trust you, and hear from me as well that you are a brand and a company that I do trust. I've seen the research. I know you're doing the testing, and we know what ingredients you're putting in there. We know where you're sourcing it from, all of that. So it's not an unknown, but there certainly are many other supplement companies out there that it is unknown. We don't know what's in
Yeah,
those
for
products.
sure. Yep.
So you have to really get to know. And you mentioned a pharmaceutical grade standard, because I've seen this on other supplement companies. Oh, what's one I'm forgetting the name of one right now that's pretty popular, but where they like have that on their website, big bold letters, like pharmaceutical grade supplements. What does that mean?
Yeah. So the very first, like, Previnex is an idea. The thing that I wanted to do was raise the standard of manufacturing. So at the time, so this is almost 13 years ago, at the time, it was even more wild, wild west than it is today. At least there's been some frameworks for manufacturing that have been put in place. But so pharmaceutical manufacturing requires raw material testing. So every single ingredient that comes in the door gets tested: contaminants, bacteria, metals, microbials, and so on. There's US pharmacopoeia testing. during the production run. So during the production run, there's testing for stability, hardness, thickness, dissolution, disintegration. And then there's the finished product testing component, which the reason that component is so important in the pharmaceutical world is like, if a doctor is prescribing 100 milligrams of something, you pretty much need it to be 100 milligrams. Because if it's too little, it may not help. If it's too much, it may hurt the patient.
Mhm.
And so to me, it was like, well, it's more expensive, but that makes a lot of sense to apply to nutritional supplements
It
because
does.
like I'm a consumer, health matters to me. Like I want to trust that what I'm putting in my body is exactly what's on the label, and what's not on the label never will show up. And I just think it's the right approach. Again, we're voluntarily doing it. It's not required. It's more expensive. So I guess our products could be a little less expensive if we didn't follow that. But I just thought like fundamentally, like foundationally, that was a really important standard to just start off with.
Well, I think so too. And that's exactly what your previous career really saw, all these fundamental issues with this industry. So I'm going to do it a different way. And again, I think it makes complete sense. Yeah. Test the raw materials, test it in production, test the final product. Seems
Totally.
like the way it should be done.
Totally. And so
Yeah.
I'll just jump. I mean, I'll share a couple things. So it's just recently happened. So we're going to be 13 in April. There's only been 2 times where an ingredient has failed raw material testing.
Mm,
The first was during COVID. We could not source the main active ingredient in Joint Health Plus, which is our top selling product.
yeah.
And we're like scrambling. Like, how can we get the ingredient? We got the ingredient,
Hmm.
but it was from an older supply, I guess, that was like warehoused, but it failed. So we were out of stock for 6 months of the product. But it was like, the scary thought to me was like, man, there are companies that don't even do this.
Yeah. And they
Well,
would have just,
why
yeah.
it failed. I'm like, that could have been in a product that could have been sold for 6 months. There's no recourse. Consumers would never know, but it's just like, holy moly. And then, yeah, last month we had our second material fail, but like, I'm so glad we have that because it kind of informs our contracts with our ingredient suppliers. Like they know we have these incredibly high standards. So they just take the ingredient back, send us new ingredient,
Yeah.
they'll call us. But yeah, it's,
But like you said, you're leveling up the whole industry in the field by doing that because you're holding
yeah, we're open to. We're
factors.
open. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, thank you for sharing that. I think that only 2 fails in 13 years is pretty good, and that you did something about it. You didn't continue to push that product out on the market. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for being transparent.
Yeah.
I want to get into your products because that's why I wanted you on. I've been, ever since I met you, I started taking Joint Health. You said that's your number 1 seller. And I'm like, it works. And so this is again another thing you'll hear sports dietitians say all the time is like, oh, you're just wasting money on supplements. You're just making expensive pee. I've said those things before too. But I'm I'm blown away when a supplement works. And there's a lot of supplements out there that might be good for your health that you don't necessarily feel an impact of. I do believe in omega-3s reducing inflammation and exercise induced inflammation and helping with your heart health, even though that's probably not something I would feel on a daily basis. So sometimes you are taking supplements, just trusting in the research, even if you're not necessarily feeling the effects. But then there's other things that I really notice. I'm going to share my personal story. And by the way, I've been advertising for Joint Health Plus on this podcast intermittently throughout the year. So people might have heard this before, but I guess I'm aging. Apparently I have osteoarthritis in my big toe. It really hurts. But as a runner, it was really bothering me. And taking your product, I don't know exactly when I notice like, oh, it doesn't hurt anymore. But when I don't take it, I notice. And so I do have to be honest that maybe this is not a cure, but that's okay because if I can live without pain every day, I will continue to take this product every day. Fans, I'm pausing the conversation again to check in on you. Are you concerned that you have REDS? That's relative energy deficiency in sport. It's a syndrome of not ideal health consequences and performance consequences that all stem from the idea that you're not fueling optimally or fueling enough for your sport needs. I've become an expert in this over the years because unfortunately, a lot of female athletes struggle with this. We have research that shows sometimes up to 90% of female athletes might be suffering from at least one of the side effects of REDS. Other research says that up to 45% of female athletes are struggling with disordered eating. These are big statistical numbers, and I don't like it. I'm here to help you become fierce, fit, and fueled. So first and foremost, head to lindsaycortez.com/reds to learn more about Reds, listen to past podcast episodes, and take our free Reds quiz to see if this might be a concern for you. From there, I've got 3 ways to help you. 1, download the Reds Recovery Guide and start taking action right away. 2, join our Reds Recovery membership. For a very affordable $15 a month, you will have access to me as a sports dietitian to educate and empower you to fuel better. We meet once a week for live calls, Q&A. You have access to the recordings if you can't join live, and a community group chat to support, encourage, and motivate you along the way to fuel fiercely. Last, spots are limited for one-on-one help, but I can help you personally through one-on-one coaching, be it my Fast Track program, the Female Athlete System of Transformation, or perhaps Fuel School, depending on your age. All of that is on my website, lindsaycortez.com. But because one-on-one spots are limited, I really want to encourage you to join the Reds Recovery membership. We live in a world where it's very easy to just pop online, read an article, listen to a podcast, and I think we do a decent job at getting information out there, but we all need someone to talk to and really ask those personal questions, and also be open and honest in a community that's going to support you in your fueling needs and goals. And that's exactly what this membership is. So only $15 a month. We meet once a week, and you will be provided with so much education and empowerment and support. I know you won't regret joining. Head to lindsaycortez.com/reds, and there you will see the Reds Recovery membership that you can join, and join us this week. It's time for you to be fierce, fit, and fueled. So as recently as this summer, I went and spent 6 weeks with my parents because I was trying to escape San Antonio heat. And I went up to New England with my 2 young boys, and we spent 6 weeks in New England summer. It was much nicer. And I packed my Previnex and somehow left it behind. So I went about a week without taking it. My big toe was hurting so much. And we went to the beach. I was on the sand. I was I couldn't walk without pain anymore. So my husband shipped them to me because I left him behind. He had to work. So he stayed here, and he shipped them to me. And within a week of taking it again, my pain is gone. So it allows me to live my life pain-free. And I'm just shocked at how helpful that is. And one other thing I'm going to add too is I've had 2 children, and I randomly get, well, for both pregnancies so far, I got postpartum arthritis in my elbows, my fingers. I thought I had carpal tunnel. And I did notice that taking it helped. It was one of those things where maybe postpartum, I wasn't as religious with my supplements. And then I was I'm in pain, start taking it again. This is getting better. And so I just want to share that story because it works. And you said it's your number 1 top selling supplement.
Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing. First of all, it's a huge encouragement. I started this company. You mentioned before, had an entrepreneurial training. I just was hey, if you make the best products, you're going to win. And so I was a total rookie.
Yeah.
It was a hard journey the first 5 years or so. And I think the thing that kept me going those years was stories like yours. It's just man, we have to keep going because our products are making a difference in people's lives. Our mission is to create health and flourishing and life. So thank you for sharing that. That makes me really happy. But this speaks to another Previnex difference, honestly, which is ingredients. So this is another trick of the supplement industry is people think that vitamin A is vitamin. There's so many different forms of vitamin A and the B vitamins and vitamin C and vitamin D, and the form really matters when it comes to creating health. And so, as you know, joint health, it's 2 ingredients. Both have been run through human clinical studies. We're looking at that stuff all the time, and happy to unpack that more. But it's so cool to hear the benefits you're experiencing.
I was just going to pull it up. So the 2 ingredients, because I think prior to knowing your supplement too, most people recommend for joint health, glucosamine, chondroitin. But the research there is pretty spotty. It's maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. So I've always if you want to try it, try it. But you do have research. So your NEM, which is from an eggshell membrane.
Natural eggshell membrane. Yep.
Natural eggshell membrane is clinically proven in research to be up to 5 times more beneficial than glucosamine and chondroitin alone or in combination.
Yep. That's
That's
right.
powerful. Yep. And proven to reduce joint pain, joint stiffness, and improve flexibility in 7 to 10 days. And that's exactly what I noticed. That within like if I don't take it for a week and then I take it for a week, then I'm better again.
Yep.
Within 7 to 10 days. So and then Boswellia, that's I actually so that one it's an anti-inflammatory. I
Yeah.
don't
So
is that a plant? Where does that even come
yeah.
from?
So it's a clinically studied form of Boswellia serrata,
Yeah.
which this form that we're using is just, yeah, it is a strong, powerful, it has these natural anti-inflammatory properties.
Yeah.
So that's when you add the NEM with the Boswellia, it's kind of like a 1 + 1 = 3 type of
Yeah.
outcome, with what we noticed. And, so as you were talking about feeling big toe benefits and arthritic benefits, and we have to be careful because supplements aren't, we cannot say that they treat, cure, mitigate,
No.
prevent disease. However, when
Can't
you
say
have,
they're magic.
yeah, you can, but there are ingredients that companies spend tens of millions of dollars to take through human clinical studies. And that's kind of right up that speaks our love language. And we look for these ingredients. And so we
Yeah.
found that the combination of those two, and we actually have a study on NEM that is more recent, that we can make the claim that NEM can protect joint cartilage from breakdown during exercise. So from like a joint longevity, performance, everyday health perspective, it's like, wow, that's, like I want to be dominant 80-year-old Lindsay. I want to be like
Yeah.
breaking world records in swimming and I have crazy goals. So I look at it like, well, the investment I'm making today to protect
Mm,
my joint cartilage from breakdown, because water polo, not a weight bearing, or swimming, not a weight bearing, that didn't really have joint issues. But I'm
yeah.
like, well, I want to be functioning at the highest possible level for as long as possible. So that study to me was like, wow, that's really cool. We can protect joint cartilage from breakdown during exercise.
Right. That preventative health.
Yep.
Because my story is more that reactive. I have pain. This helps me. But even thinking this can help protect you.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, as a dietitian, I just like to be honest with people. When I first looked at this product, I was like eggshell membrane. Like I don't even know what that is. And so I had to educate myself on it. And you even sent me years ago, you sent me like the links to clinical trials and stuff with these ingredients, which was so interesting. I am going to talk about one other supplement company real quick because I advertise for them as well. It's called Wave By. It's for menstrual cycle health for women. But it's the same thing. It's this OBGYN, Margot Harrison. I had her on the podcast over the summer, who was like, here, all of her patients, having these symptoms and complaining. Then she looks at the research and she's like, vitamin E is supposed to help with this, but how come we don't have a good quality supplement that targets this, right? So it's like we have research about NEM, you have research about certain ingredients, but to put it together, as you've done with this joint health and as Margot's done with Wave By, we've put the ingredients that the research is showing us, we've put it together. And now this is a product that can actually do something. And kind of to your point as well, like you're like, I need to keep doing this because of stories like yours. That's Margot's drive as well. She's like, I put it together and it's working. It's helping people. It's changing their lives.
I love it. Go
So
Martin. I love it.
yeah. 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 I can see from both of you, your mission isn't, I want to have a company and make money, although you do need to put food on the table, but I want people's lives to improve.
Totally, 100%. Yep.
Yeah. So last week I did a solo episode all about nutrients to boost your immune health as we're entering cold and flu season. And I'm still kind of actively coming out of like sinus, upper respiratory infection going on over the last 2 weeks myself. So I did a whole episode. I was talking about zinc and vitamin C, and you have another product for immune health plus as well. And write in your ingredients. Sorry, I'm just pulling it up on my phone here, but you had the things I was talking about. You've got vitamin D in there. I think you've got zinc in there. Sorry, I got to pull it up again, but
Yep. Vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc. We have some calcium, some elderberry, but we've got
Mhm.
the beta glucans, which are the heavyweight champions of the formula.
Yeah. And so I wanted to know more because I didn't talk about this on my podcast. I did not talk about beta glucans and immune health. But so again, my perspective dietitian, beta glucans, they're in fibrous foods, they're in oats, they're in barley, they might even be in some like seaweed. So a lot of your fiber foods. We know fiber is good. It can like reduce cholesterol, but also really can boost your immune system.
Yep.
So yeah, I wouldn't have known the research really to say put this in an immune health supplement. But you
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
How?
So we probably spend this maybe, I think this is accurate, like probably 2 years researching a space. And part of this is like product philosophy. It's like we're going to be 13. We have 11 products. So we only want to go into categories. We can say like, we have the best joint supplement or immune supplement with tons of clinical data to back it up. And we started looking at beta glucans. And yeah, I mean, if you go into PubMed and type in beta glucans, and PubMed's like National Institute of Health's repository for clinical studies, you type in beta glucans, you'll see this like chart that is like the perfect stock chart, which is massive growth in studies and things of that nature.
Yeah.
And I think what caught our eyes, we kind of knew beta glucans were natural defenders for the immune system, but I'm not sure we fully understood all the mechanisms of action. And so to keep it really, really high level, right? Beta glucans, they basically naturally defend and boost the immune system. They optimize its response to viruses, pathogens, infections. And the best way I can explain it is like when you get the right beta glucan, so we have 4 different beta glucans in the product, they essentially make the immune system more efficient and effective. And you can think of like turning immune cells into like self defenders. So supercharge the immune cells, viruses or pathogens enter. Some of these beta glucans will go out and bind to the viruses, release chemicals to destroy them. And it's an interesting product. So most of our products, you can feel the benefits like joint
Mhm.
health, muscle health, etc. Immune is one that it's one of those things where you don't really know it's working until you're like, wait, I haven't been sick, or I haven't. My preschooler came home with these things once a week for 8 weeks, and normally I get sick, but like, holy moly,
Yeah.
I'm not. And incidentally, like the only 2 times I've been sick in the last probably 4 years, I ran out of Immune Health Plus because I forgot to stock it, or I thought I had some at the office, and
Yeah.
which just anecdotally. So
Right.
those are and there's different types of beta glucan. So one that we use in the formula is one that's been through human clinical studies. I'm actually under NDA, so the non-disclosure agreement, because I've seen some crazy things that the companies try to prove out. But
Mhm.
it's an organic particulate beta glucan that essentially activates all 3 parts of the immune system. And like, it's crazy. Like what it does to invading viruses and pathogens and how it boosts the body's immune response rate and defense systems is like off the charts. And so prevention, you called it out, could be the best medicine. And so to me,
Yeah.
I'm like, so year round, this is in my everyday routine because I'm like, good golly, I want to have things bind to invaders. That's not just virus, pathogens, infections. Like there's other things that can grow in your body that you don't
Yeah.
want there. That, there's interesting research to come, I think, on the role of beta glucans as it relates to just killing cells that are not healthy in your body.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't tell you this yet, but I'm moving to Massachusetts in January. And that's when I got sick 2 weeks ago. I thought to myself, wait a second. I'm about to move to an area where I'm probably going to get sick more often. It's just like wintertime and being indoors spreads more. And I've got little kids. And I was just like, I can't do this. Cause I've been I think living in a warmer weather climate. I've been in Texas for 7 years. So I haven't gotten too sick.
Yeah.
But I used to live in Massachusetts and I used to get sick all the time. So I'm like, basically, that's why I did my podcast episode about nutrition for immune health. I was like, I gotta care more about this. So, anyways, I'm gonna add immune health to my personal. I can't afford being sick anymore. Life is too hard already.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Well, I can't wait to hear your story. Your joint
Yeah,
one is great to hear. So I can't wait to hear your immune story.
yeah. And I will add too, because I mentioned this in last week's episode, how sometimes you're still going to get sick. Like if you're exposed to those germs,
Yeah,
you're still going to get
for
sick.
sure.
But so much of the nutrients and this supplement as well, it might be like, well, it's not as severe, or
So
well, it was shorter in duration. And those things are hard to prove, right? You can't prove that in yourself, but you'll at the end of the year say, yeah, I didn't get that sick, you know?
yeah, well, even zinc, right? Zinc's a kind of mineral that we all know what zinc is, or at least we know of zinc. Zinc is clinically proven to reduce the duration and severity
Duration.
of the common cold. So yeah,
Yeah.
just that alone is worth the investment because it's like I mean, it's never fun to be sick. We all get sick from time to time.
Yeah.
But if you can reduce the severity and duration because you have that mineral in your body in the right forms, right? That's another one of those tricky things. Like a lot of bad forms of zinc going around in these
Yeah.
products, but the right forms do the right thing. So
Yeah. So do you have we won't have time to go over every product that you have. You have 13, you said, right? Or no, 11.
11 currently.
11. What's
To
your
be
favorite?
expanded shortly though. To be expanded. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. What's your current favorite or one that you're really excited about?
Lindsay, you have 2 kids. If I asked you who your favorite kid was, it would be, I have 3 kids. So it's like asking me, who's your favorite child? It is an impossible question
Yeah.
to answer.
Yeah. You're
I,
excited about
I
them all.
find that our newest product is like my favorite to launch because I'm
Yeah.
like spending so much time in the clinical data. Our team has been spending so much time in the research. And you're just like, oh my gosh, we have an innovative product in this industry and we're going to create a ton of health with it. So I can't say what my favorite is. I will tell you an area that's been really interesting to me from like a lifespan, health span, longevity. And there's lots of areas, but I think, muscle health and strength training is really interesting. And we kind of started with a theory. We have a muscle health supplement. We
Right.
started with a theory that like, should we protect muscles from breakdown just due to the natural aging process? So you start in your 30s, you're losing probably about just under 1% of your muscle mass a year. That accelerates to 2 to 3% as you get into your 60s. And your muscle mass is going to be a big determinant of your quality of life.
Yeah.
So I am all in on every single person, adult should be taking, men, women should be taking 5 grams of creatine a day. Again, then you get like, what's the right form and the right quality form. But the research is so strong there. And then we put creatine plus HMB, which actually funny, like joint is like a 1+1=3 of
Yeah.
creatine. When you add those two, we put the BCAAs in, the essential amino acids, we put some clinically studied things that help transport amino acids. And that has been, I mean, just from recovery and muscle mass has been a game changer for me. So that I love that product, but I take all of them. I mean, I am a product of the product. I take the multi, the omega, the
Yeah.
probiotic, the immune, and I take Neurify or protein shakes. First meal. That might be like a call out is I'm thinking when you say supplement, I'm thinking like of our capsules and tablets, but
Yeah.
our protein powder, I think if you look at the industry, there's so many sneaky things that make their way into protein powders, sugar, alcohol, like things that are inflammatory. For the gut. And so I think our protein powder I would call out because like we figured out how to make it taste good. It's got balanced protein, carbs, and fats, by the way, because the research, never seen research that says just take protein. It says
Yeah.
protein, carbs, and fats, which is what we're meant to consume, leads to better outcomes across all scenarios. And so I love that one. Also, because we figured out a way to keep it clean and make it taste good, which was not easy to do, but we stuck to our guns again, no compromise. And like,
Yeah.
that is our DNA. So those are 2 call outs, but I love all of our products. I take them all. Like, just like I love all my kids.
Well, it was funny because it was like last spring, one of my clients was told me because I have, the discount code for Previnex. And she was like, well, I'm taking their muscle health. And I was like, huh? And she's like, well, I use your code. And I'm like, what product? I didn't even know about it. And so my client who was using my discount code was using this product before I even knew about it. But I went and researched it and I thought, I thought myself that, but there's been a lot of research with creatine recently.
Yeah.
We've always known it's good. Well, I think we've known for many, many years now, creatine is good. But as you said, the conversation is shifting to longevity of life, which comes from muscle mass. And we're really shifting that conversation. We're not just saying like, be strong to look a certain way. We're saying like, be strong to function better in life.
Yep.
And also we want to be strong to perform in our sport and all that. But there's a nice trend in the conversation in health that's looking at the aging population, not just putting all of health into our youth, which is also important. But I think that's nice. We don't just want to say, oh, you're 50, you have these aches and pains now. That's not fair.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think what we do today is going to greatly influence our outcomes 20, 30 years from now. And so
Yeah.
I'm very interested because it's like a lifelong experiment. I mean, I was a research analyst in my 20s. I've been supplementing. I've been just doing things. And I really think I'm going to have an extra decade or 15 years of like really high function. Because at some
Solid.
point, listen, we're all going to die at some point. That's a
Yeah.
guarantee. But the quality of those years, call it 70 to 80, or I don't know, right? But those, I think you can get really high quality outcomes through the investments today. So maintaining muscle mass, cardiovascular health, brain health, digestive health, like all these things add up over time. And it's not just supplements, right? It's sleep. It's what
Oh,
you
of
eat.
course.
Food is the foundation. It's stress management. It's lots of things, but supplements certainly are a tool. And yeah, I'm excited. We'll see. We'll see how it all goes when I'm 80.
Yeah, yeah. I'm expecting some world records out of you in the
I am
watch.
too, Lindsay. I am too. They're on the big board. We'll see what
No,
happens.
it's funny. Like I don't want to age. At the same time, I've done the same. I envision myself rock climbing as like a 75-year-old. I don't even rock climb now, but that's what I envision
I
when I'm
love
older.
it.
Because it's just this, yeah, it's just this mindset of like I'm not gonna be held down. I'm gonna still be physically capable, and we'll
Yeah,
see where life
for sure
leads us.
possible. It is for sure possible.
Yeah, yeah. So everybody go check out all the products because as David said, they're all amazing. But I also, we started this conversation with like the mission and why you started the company. And, the through line here is you want to improve people's lives. And you're doing that in more ways than just selling this supplement to consumers. So I'd like to give you a moment to share about this amazing Get Health, Give Health program.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh,
I'd also love to hear the origins, like kind of how you thought it up, I suppose.
yeah. Yeah. No, this one. Yeah. Well, thanks for asking about that. Yeah. So I have a real passion for children, which goes into the origin story. I have a real passion for health. And I think so. Where this started was we were about 3 years in. We did not have a children's multivitamin. We did not have a Get Health, Give Health program. And I will say, I don't know if it was the hardest part of Previnex, but like, I feel like year 3 was like, are we going to make it? Doesn't look like it. This is so hard.
Yeah.
This, you know, and the most amazing thing happened, which was our first child, my daughter, was born in late 2016. And I remember holding her and I was just like, two things. I was like, this is the most amazing thing I've ever seen. Like, this is incredible. But the second thing that I kept thinking as I was holding her was like, there are parents just like me holding daughters just like mine. They're going to lose them to preventable things like malnutrition. And I think when I started the company, there was like an aspirational goal of like, how can we use the business to just beyond serving our customers? How can we use it to just serve in general, like in our
Serve the
community,
world.
those in need, like underserved populations, and it's still something I think a lot about. So but as I'm holding my daughter, having that thought, I was just like, I need to just take this like aspirational thought and actually just start doing some research. So I looked into malnutrition, and at the time, so it was 2016. 17,000 children were dying every day around the world from malnutrition. But what I learned, which was like the shocking thing, was that for up to 45% of those children, it is not a food or starvation issue. It's a vitamin deficiency issue, meaning you give these children vitamins, they live, you don't, they die. I'm like, hold on a second. Like, this is a solvable problem. Like,
Yeah.
it's assuming you can get perfect distribution, you could solve this problem, eliminate this from the planet. And I felt called to do it. Like, now, side note, we were really struggling as a company. Like, I didn't know if Prepnex was going to survive. There was a lot going on, but I just felt convicted and called to do this. And so I walked into the office, like after I did this research, I was like, listen, team, we are going to create a best in class children's multivitamin, and we're going to start donating it for every customer order. So it probably took us about 6 months. Of course, we're going to like go all out research and figure out how to make the best children's multi on the market, and then find the right partner for distribution to make sure we reach the most vulnerable children. But we launched that program, and I think it's just my vision for it was like, let's just do it. And by the way, is like, if you would have looked at our financials, you would have said, hey, your probability of going out of business just went from 99% to 100%. Like, you can't afford to do this. But I was feeling called to do it. I think we got to be obedient to this call
Mhm.
and launched it. And I mean, we've donated, I think like we're at like 4.4 million. I mean, it's just, it's unbelievable. And the stories of impact, like your story is incredible when you talk about joy. I love our customer stories. They're so meaningful. They're so valuable. When I hear stories of malnourished children
I know
who
you're gonna
are,
make me cry just thinking about it.
well, it's just, it,
Yeah.
it's like unbelievable. These are children I will probably never meet in my life.
Mhm.
And I mean, I'm thinking about big things. Like if you have chronic malnutrition amongst your children, like, and it's not just kids dying for vitamin deficiencies, it's stunted growth. So like your
Stuff.
brain's never forming to its full potential. Your body's never forming to its full potential.
Mhm.
So how in the world do you get a country out of poverty if like your population base is like not, their brains aren't developing, and like this is terrible. Like this shouldn't exist. This is not how things should be. And so yeah, so we stepped into it in a big way, and like I am an ambitious guy, and I would love before my life is over to like solve this problem. And I think it's solvable. Like I think it's, I mean, it's not just going to be through customer orders. Like we're gonna have to put some capital behind it. But like I just feel like it's preventable. It shouldn't exist, and it's just a call on my life to like, how do we solve this problem? Children cannot help the circumstances they're born into,
No.
and I have a real heart for kids. And my wife too was a NICU nurse, and we're just so aligned on like loving our children and how can we help kids? I mean, it starts with our own kids, but like we just have a heart for kids. I have a heart for health. And that is how our Get Health, Give Health program started. It feels like we're in the first inning still, and we have big plans to like really make a dent in this problem.
Yeah. But it's a meaningful, beautiful thing to do. I also think that there's a good trend of consumers now caring where they put their money. I'm not saying that it was never the case, but I don't know. In America, things are just good for a while. People just spend money, and now people are being a little more selective. What is this company all about? Where is my money going? And to know that, okay, I'm going to put my money into Previnex not only because these supplements are helping me and improving my health, but I am now giving back. I'm helping somebody else. I think that that's something that makes people feel good about buying your product. And, you did mention, okay, yeah, maybe these supplements are a bit more expensive than some others, but that's because we test them all because they actually work and because we have a bigger mission as well.
Yeah,
And
no,
so I
totally.
think consumers that might be able to help people think about that too, that as I'm buying this for me, I'm also serving something greater.
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, we of course love generating health for malnourished children through these orders.
Yeah.
I one thing I heard, because I was, as we were thinking about this, and I'm like, yeah, this we might go out of business doing this, but we're going to do it anyway. Every single person I spoke to who owned a business that had incorporated a social impact, they're like, if you're doing this to generate revenue, like it's not going to do that for you. I just want you to know that up front. And I'm like, well, that's not why we're doing it. But I'm just trying to
Yeah.
get, and even today, I mean, it's just, we just want to love and serve people wherever we meet them through
Mhm.
this business vehicle. And that's like, yeah. So we are all in on trying to create best in class supplements for our customers. If they don't even know that we donate vitamins, that's okay.
We're still going to do it.
I am all in on that, as it's like a personal passion project. I get to live up my values through the business and do it. But yeah, I love that we can create health in that way through the business.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, David, I know you've got to get going, and I appreciate all of your time. This was a great conversation. I really want my listeners that if you are in need of a supplement, because you even said it, food first, we need sleep, we
For
need
sure.
to manage our stress. But if you are in need of a supplement or are thinking that there's things I can do to take care of my health better, I would encourage you to look at Previnex. So just go to Previnex.com. Oh, another good thing I want to highlight about yours. So I do have an affiliate code that my listeners can use. We actually just changed it. If you're using the old code, that's fine, but new code Cortez15. So that'll be in the show notes. And you also offer subscription, which really helps. Because I know this used to be a problem for myself is I'd run out of my supplements and then I have to go log back online, order them again, and make that whole decision process again. but you can just do your subscription. Mine just get sent to me. They're just sent to me. On a monthly basis or however, many you need. You can do bi-monthly, whatever. And you get a little extra discount when you do that too, which is nice.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
would, I would sign up for the subscription.
Cool. Yep. 10% off. It's funny. 57% of our orders are subscription, which is like the highest in the industry that I know of, which I actually just think is like speaks to the quality and effectiveness of the products. But yeah, 10% off for life. And yeah, makes
Yeah.
it easy, convenient.
Makes it, it definitely makes it convenient because I never run out of my joint health. So it's only if I forget it on vacation that I run into trouble. But thank you so much, David. Amazing conversation.
Thanks, Lindsay. It's so good to be with you.
Thanks so much for listening, and I really hope you enjoyed that episode. Please help spread the message of empowering female athletes to be fierce, fit, and fueled by giving this podcast a 5-star review and leaving a comment. You can also help more female athletes by sending this episode to a friend. Head to lindsaycortez.com for more resources, information, more episodes, ways to work together, downloadable guides, and ebooks. And if you're interested in becoming a guest on the show or have a guest suggestion, head to lindsaycortez.com/podcast, and there's a form for you to fill out to get on the show. Hey, there's more resources on my YouTube channel, Female Athlete Nutrition, Instagram at female.athlete.nutrition, and private Facebook group, Female Athlete Nutrition. I think you get the point. I'm here to support female athletes by fueling better and becoming fierce, fit, and fueled. Most importantly, if you need help, reach out. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next show.